Evolution of the soul. God, in His bounty, has given us a foretaste here, has given us certain proofs of the difference that exists between body, soul, and spirit. We see that cold, heat, suffering, etc. only concern the body. They do not touch the spirit. How often do we see a man poor, sick, miserably clad, and with no means of support, yet spiritually strong? Whatever his body has to suffer, his spirit is free and well. Again, how often do we see a rich man, physically strong and healthy, but with a soul sick unto death? It is quite apparent to the seeing mind that a man's spirit is something very different to his physical body. The spirit is changeless, indestructible. The progress and development of the soul, the joy and sorrow of the soul, are independent of the physical body. If we are caused joy or pain by a friend, if a love prove true or false, it is the soul that is affected. If our dear ones are far from us, it is the soul that grieves, and the grief or trouble of the soul may react on the body. Thus, when the spirit is fed with holy virtues, then is the body joyous. If the soul falls into sin, the body is in torment. When we find truth, constancy, fidelity, and love, we are happy. But if we meet with lying, faithlessness, and deceit, we are miserable. These are all things pertaining to the soul, and are not bodily ills. Thus it is apparent that the soul, even as the body, has its own individuality. But if the body undergoes a change, the spirit need not be touched. When you break a glass on which the sun shines, the glass is broken, but the sun still shines. If a cage containing a bird is destroyed, the bird is unharmed. If a lamp is broken, the flame can still burn bright. The same thing applies to the spirit of man. Though death destroy his body, it has no power over his spirit. This is eternal, everlasting, both birthless and deathless. As to the soul of man after death, it remains in the degree of purity to which it has evolved during life in the physical body, and after it is freed from the body, it remains plunged in the ocean of God's mercy. From the moment the soul leaves the body and arrives in the heavenly world, its evolution is spiritual, and that evolution is the approaching unto God. In the physical creation, evolution is from one degree of perfection to another. The mineral passes with its mineral perfection to the vegetable. The vegetable, with its perfection, passes to the animal world, and so on to that of humanity. This world is full of seeming contradictions. In each of these kingdoms, mineral, vegetable, and animal, life exists in its degree, though when compared to the life in a man, the earth appears to be dead. Yet she, too, lives and has a life of her own. In this world, things live and die, and live again in other forms of life. But in the world of the spirit, it is quite otherwise. The soul does not evolve from degree to degree as a law. It only evolves near to God, by the mercy and bounty of God. Try with all your hearts to be willing channels for God's bounty. For I say unto you, that He has chosen you to be His messengers of love throughout the world, to be His bearers of spiritual gifts to man, to be the means of spreading unity and concord on the earth. Thank God with all your hearts that such a privilege has been given unto you. For a life devoted to praise is not too long in which to thank God for such a favor. Lift up your hearts above the present and look with eyes of faith into the future. Today the seed is sown, the grain falls upon the earth. But behold, the day will come when it shall rise a glorious tree, and the branches thereof shall be laden with fruit. Rejoice and be glad that this day has dawned. Try to realize its power, for it is indeed wonderful. God has crowned you with honor, and in your hearts has He set a radiant star. Verily, the light thereof shall brighten the whole world.